Hello everyone, I'm Lloyd Barwick and welcome to another gin opinion and a review of 3 more Artisan gins. Now before we start, I'd just like to say we get people in the shop now on a regular basis and they come in and they say, can you please get us this gin or that gin, because it's our absolute favourite. The only problem is every gin is somebody's absolute favourite, apart from unicorn tears, I would think. So let's get rid of that. But the problem with this is a recent survey by one of our distillers came up with a figure of 2,100 gins now available in the UK. So obviously our shop can't accommodate 2,100 gins, so we've applied a couple of criteria now before we bring a gin in. Firstly, they've got to be good gins. We don't compromise on that. They've got to be really good gins. And secondly, they have to be proper distillers. Now, we have a couple of exceptions to our own rule, but I'll tell you about those today because we have one gin here which bucks our own rule. It goes against our own rule. But basically we only have artisan distillers. No compounders and no contract distillers, apart from the exceptions that I've already said, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So let's get going. Let's review our first gin, and I'll come back in just a moment. So, the first gin today is Twisting Spirits Douglas Fir. Now this is made by Richard and Mary Bateman in Tewkesbury in Gloucestershire. And I firstly must apologise to them because I'm sorry, Richard and Mary, I'm using an old bottle with the square shoulders to do this demonstration. But we do have the new ones on order, we'll have them any day now. And the gin inside both bottles is exactly the same beautiful gin. So, Twisting Spirits. A very unique gin in that Richard and Mary copper distill 10 botanicals in the traditional way, and those botanicals are a typical basket of London Dry botanicals. So there's cardamom and orris and cubeb and licorice and cassia in the 10 botanicals. So they produce obviously a very good London Dry because the gin is a very good one. But then they vacuum distill some additional light botanicals. They don't tell us exactly what they are, but they vacuum distill light botanicals, and then they compound the two together. They twist the two together, hence Twisting Spirits. This produces an excellent gin where the light botanicals are not subject to heat, so they're not going to be burnt, they're not going to be ruined by the heat of a pot still. So that's the method behind it, that's the intention behind it. And obviously one of the botanicals is Douglas Fir. Now this is a lovely gin because it has Douglas Fir. The Douglas Fir brings like a sweet, piney, lovely flavour to it actually, and it's typical because we have another artisan distiller who uses red western cedar, and those sort of piney notes really combine well with the juniper because they're obviously in the same family. They combine really well, but they bring this sort of sweeter note to the gin. So it's a beautiful gin. They cut it back to 41.5%. So that's the drinking ABV. And the bottle also is very unique because it is a bottle with a banded appearance, and they tell you on the bottle what each of these bands, what botanical it represents. So obviously you've got juniper in here, and you've got the pine needles and the cubeb, etc. And the width of the band represents the percentage of each botanical in the spirit. Now, not only that, Richard and Mary have won many awards with this gin now, and in fact this year they have won triple star award at the Great Taste Awards, which is an international food and drink award organisation. This year there were over 12,700 entries, of which less than 3% got 3 stars for their products. This was one of them. So this is a gin you've really got to try if you like a London Dry. We have it in the shop. We have all their gins in the shop. There are 2 others. There's a Cafe Lime and Lemongrass and an Earl Grey. They're all excellent. We have all 3 in the shop. If you'd like to come and taste them, please do. So there we are. Our first gin today, Twisting Spirits Douglas Fir Gin. Well, here's a gin that always brings a smile to our face. It's Dancing Dragontail from the Gin Kitchen in Surrey. Now, Kate and Helen produced this gin in Punchbowl Lane in Surrey in a converted oak barn. It's a great place. They have a gin bar in there, they have the distillery in there, and we've seen some pictures of the gin nights they hold. They look fantastic. Great gin, great food, a great evening. We're hoping to go ourselves. So, back to the gin. Dancing Dragontail is typical of the girls' gins. It's a magical story more than just a gin on it in its own right. So you know that when you pick the bottle up, because the girls have put a poem at the back of the bottle which says, fragrant lanterns rise through a dancing citrus mist, sips of silken dew. So they tell a whole story with their gins. It's not for them just putting a liquid in a bottle. So they produce 3 gins at the moment. Dancing Dragontail was their first. They now do Gutsy Monkey and Blushing Monkey, and we'll get to those other 2 gins in future editions of the Gin Opinion. But back to this one. It's cut back to 48%, which means that it drinks very, very nicely. Really thick mouthfeel, very long. We don't know what the botanicals are. They don't tell us. It's a distiller's secret. But certainly lashings of cardamom in here, and a real lovely sort of sweet peppery note to finish. Not too hot, but just sweet and peppery. So a really nice gin. They have a signature serve, which is premium tonic, a slice of lime, and a shard of lemongrass. And it would really drink well like that as a beautiful G&T. So, Kate and Helen produce 30 bottles a batch, or were producing 30 bottles a batch when we visited, but they were, however, planning to install a 200 litre still. So that might be up and running now, and they may have upped production of this wonderful gin. So please find it. It's not widely available, but certainly is available across the south coast. We have it here in the shop. We have all 3 gins in the shop. We like it a lot, and we're sure you will. The bottle is fantastic. The artwork is great. They hand annotate every bottle. So great distillery, great girls, great gin. Please try Dancing Dragontail. Now, I already told you that we don't have contract gins here in the shop, but I lied, because this is a contract gin and we're very happy to have it in the shop. So I should tell you the story behind it. And that is that in 2017, a chap called Ben Maguire walked in the door and said, look, I've just produced a gin. Would you taste it? And if you like it, would you stock it? So we said to Ben the same thing we say to all of our artisan distillers: are you a distiller or not? And he said, quite honestly, no, I'm not a distiller. I have this produced by Langley's in the Midlands, but it is craft produced in a 200-year-old copper pot still, and it is my recipe. So we said to Ben, look, what's, give us the full story, enlighten us. So Ben said, I have a test still at home, and I've been using it for many months to work with different botanical recipes to come up with a gin that I want to take to market, and this is the gin I've come up with. So it's Ben's recipe. Langley's produce it. It's a fully distilled gin, but it does have an infusion of rosemary. So it has rosemary and pink grapefruit as the standout botanicals. It drinks wonderfully. It's great gin and tonic gin. We love it with London Essence, pink grapefruit and rosemary tonic, because we have that in the shop and it matches it beautifully. And I should just say that over the past 2 and a bit years, we've become good friends with Ben. We follow his antics, and they are antics actually, because we don't know anyone who works harder than Ben to try and get their gin out to market. And we know that all of our artisan distillers work really hard. But typically Ben will think nothing of driving to Germany, sleeping in the car overnight to attend a gin festival, and then driving all the way home again. So that's how hard he works. He's all over the place. He's now become a little more established, and he's doing some really great promotional work. He sponsors a racing yacht, and he does some work with Suzuki outboard engines. So he's obviously aiming this gin, being called Mary Rose Gin, at the yachties and the powerboat set, because it sits very well in that environment. But this was his first offering, and it's an excellent gin. He now has two others, Elderflower and a Navy Strength, and we'll be featuring both of those in future editions of Gin Opinion. So that's the reason why we have this contract gin. We like it, we drink it a lot at home, and we would really recommend that you go out and buy this gin and try it, because it's a great gin and tonic gin. Really good to drink with plain tonic. Any citrus tonic goes really well with it. Rosemary based tonics, really good gin. So Mary Rose Gin from HMS Spirits and Ben Maguire, please go and find it. There we are, folks, another 3 gins from me, Lloyd Barwick at Gin Opinion. So if you've liked what you've seen today, please subscribe to my channel and please click the bell, and any future editions will come straight to you. So we hope you've liked our gins, and we've many more to show you, so please come back to Gin Opinion soon.